Test, test, test. It looks like it should be going through. I hope it's working. It looks like it should be working at least. All right, I'm going back on mute. All right, hello y'all. How is it going? Happy Wednesday. I guess happy Wednesday for most people. I was watching the Stanley Cup playoffs, and the team we were rooting for in the Eastern Conference Finals, spoilers ahead, lost. So Carolina lost to Florida, which it's a shame because Florida. But here we are. We are not here to talk about hockey tonight. We are here to work on the budgeting app that I've been working on. So if you're new here, welcome. If you've been around for a bit, here's my spiel on what Pocket Budget actually is. It is a basically an envelope budgeting system, but where you have to do where it's zero-based budgeting, right? So you have to get all your money and assign it to all the pockets or categories that you need it to go to, and that's what you have to spend for the month. That is basically it. That is what we're doing today. That is what we're building. What I have been building for the last couple weeks now. Hey, Mono, what is up? How's it going? How is the other hemisphere? But yeah, so that's what we're doing today. That's what I'm doing. I'm shifting gears a little bit. So if you've been tuning in and have been watching me really work on the back end, we are going to be working on the front end side of things. So it is the iOS app client time. I'm not done with the server side stuff at all, anywhere close, but I got the itch for wanting to do something new, and instead of trying to do a brand new project, I was like, you know what? I have the front end that needs to be built. Let's just do that. So here we are. It's getting colder and colder each day there. Oh, and unfortunately, it's getting warmer and warmer up here. But that makes sense because we're on opposites. So yeah. But I'm sure you're welcoming the cold, I'm guessing. Maybe not. All right. So like I said, that is what we're doing today, which means we're going to be mainly in Xcode today instead of Cursor. A little bit of what that looks like here is we got Xcode. Let me know if I need to bump up the font or anything. And then I have Alex here, which, forgive the light mode, it's just easier in my room sometimes, in my office sometimes. I have Alex sidebar here, which is like a really nice AI coding client that I like to use. Specifically for Xcode and Swift related things. It does know Swift a bit more. It does help with Swift a little bit more than other things do, but yeah. You have adopted a blanket into the work from home setup. Nice. And you're also back in Xcode, so welcome. Who knows how today will end up though. It'll be a good time. Xcode is always a fun time. All right, so that's what we're starting with. I'm currently trying to make the services. It's going to be probably a little bit until we actually get to the it's probably gonna be a little bit until we actually get to like actually the front end side of things, like getting the UI and stuff working. But I can give you a little rundown of what has happened in here. And let's just move those over there. So sorry, trying to see this. But how it's going is we have configuration files. I have some analytics things. I know it's really early on to put analytics in, but I might as well start from the beginning. That kind of get fed into the actual app itself. At some point I should make the product identifier actually do that, but do that later. Maybe we'll do that tonight. We have repositories that speak to, so the iOS app is going to be using SwiftUI and SwiftData, which may or may not be in my favor. We'll see what happens. I like to use the latest and greatest having asterisk that Apple puts out, especially for my side projects. So hence why we're using SwiftData. Everything is local though. So these repositories are going to be what communicates are actor model actors. They are actually what inserts and fetches from SwiftData. And then we'll use services to actually like create the budgets and such. That's the goal here. Everything inside views will be using non-managed objects. I love to overcomplicate what should be a easier project, but here we are. I expect these models to get bigger and bigger. So like instead of at some point, so like if I just call a budget, maybe it'll have all the arrays for like the different budget periods, or maybe it'll just have the most current budget period, right? Like stuff like that. But we'll have to build those as I need them. I don't really know if I need those type of things yet. I'm kind of just building from scratch as we go. Mono, you finally upgraded your, wow, why is this so big? You finally upgraded your work project to minimum of iOS 16, and you have a big SwiftUI migration to do. Ooh. Fun, fun, fun. Yeah, the navigation stack is cool. Hopefully that plays out well in your favor. I actually don't have as many issues as people usually do, like navigation-wise. I'm guessing it's because I don't know the UI kit stuff, so I don't have like the baggage necessarily with it. But yeah, I mean, there are some weird things that come with sheets and stuff, but yeah, overall, it went pretty smooth for me. Okay, so right now we're still working on like services and writing that kind of stuff and stuff like that. Your base app still uses UIKit for navigation, but this is a standalone flow in a card, so you're hoping it'll be okay. Yeah, and should be okay then. That makes sense to me. All right, so inside budget service, we have the setup default pocket types. So pocket types, these should actually be called pocket groups and not pocket types. I ended up changing that here. So instead of pocket groups, instead of pocket types, we have pocket groups. So pocket groups are kind of like your categories of categories. So let's go and change. I was trying to follow a bit of the TDD type things. There we go. Oh, this should just be service dot setup. All right, so I'm still not sold on if this should be a service or a manager, because it should, but this is just semantics, right? So a budget service is going to deal with anything currently that has to deal with the state of the budget. So what the current budget is. If you create a budget, that becomes a selected budget, all that kind of jazz. Setting up your default pocket groups and stuff like that. You have a strong concern there will be a new navigation library announced at WWDC. It's been a couple years since the last. It's about time for another. And you think if this works, you get to convert the whole app to SwiftUI navigation, then you can completely ditch UIKit. Ooh, that is very exciting. I hope there's not a new navigation. There's just improvements to the navigation library would be the goal here. All right, so we need to actually implement the pocket groups, but what does that mean here, like that comes in? So I need to confirm that the default pockets have been added. Pocket groups have been added. So what are those default pocket groups? They are, let's hop over to cursor real quick. Here they are. All right, so we have system, housing, food, transportation, entertainment, and savings. Android just launched a new nav library for all their adaptive stuff, and if iOS 26 is a bit redesigned, interesting. I mean, I would really hate for them to do something new that is actually just like what the default for iOS 19 is. Like, it'd be better, in my opinion, if they would just update the library. So if you're on iOS 19, you get the new iOS 19 features. Now, granted, I know that could break existing like navigation structures, but I think, in my opinion, if you're adopting SwiftUI, you should be adopting SwiftUI for like the nativeness that like SwiftUI brings you. So therefore, you should be okay if your iOS 19 stuff or iOS 26 stuff, as the news articles broke today, go on to the new side of things. All you know is you're scared. I understand. All right, so we need to set these default pocket groups. So actually, we set up default pocket groups. This should actually probably be like create, but that's okay. So these are system, housing, food, transportation, entertainment, and savings. So let's do expect. So we need to actually like fetch pocket groups for budget. And then iterate through pocket. So we know we have the let default pocket group names. So this is just the test I'm writing here, right? So the Swift testing here. So we got system. So system can never be deleted or anything like that. That's just what it is. System, housing. Let's just copy these. Oops. Because I'm tired of going back and forth. Just so I know where the indentions happen. All right, so these are the pocket types. And then the pocket groups, and then the pockets. Don't have a pocket. So I think like when you're creating a transaction, or like at some point there'll be like auto import. I think this is more important on the server side of things. There's going to be an auto import. So when like it's waiting to have a pocket and it doesn't have one yet assigned to it, it needs to be assigned somewhere. I don't think pockets should be optional, basically, in my head. All right, so we have housing. There's probably a better way for me to do this besides just an array of strings, but let's. What is it? Transportation. Oh, entertainment. instead of fun. All right, I think I get it all. For default Pocket group names, we'll have to do the other parts better as well later. So then we need to fetch the Pocket groups for the given budget. So let fetch descriptor equals, let's see if I turn on, I had to turn this off because it actually wasn't doing a great job for me. But if we enable autocomplete here, let's see if it helps me a bit more. And Alex, I turned it off a couple days ago because it just wasn't working for me. It was even worse than what I wanted. Fetch descriptor, Pocket group entity, sweet. All right, so yeah, we need the Pocket group entity where the domain ID, nope. Oh, whoops, that's not what I wanted anyway. Right? Is that how Pocket descriptor, fetch descriptors work? Almost. Very, very close. Great. Predicate. Oh, I guess we can make a predicate first. So let predicate equals. Can I do hashtag? No. I mean, maybe? This seems weird. We won't do that. Okay, let's try doing it kind of like what it says here. What my previous example says. Is that why? This is where it gets confusing though, because like Apple's trying to do its imports, its special stuff, and it's just confusing. Hold on, text editing, where is that? There is a, that's the predictive code completing. I thought, oh, here it is. Well, we don't have any of that on. Okay. Okay, it's probably not going to give me the actual thing that I want anyway. Budget ID equals service dot budget what's wrong here? Yeah, you're right. I can't. Why is it trying to make it into some view though? I do use autocomplete, Tiger. I'm just so, why am I not using autocomplete? Why did I just turn it off? Because I was letting Alex provide the autocomplete. So this is like an AI assisted autocomplete, which is different than Apple's AI assisted autocomplete. It gets really confusing when you have both turned on, and I just wanted to use Alex at this point, which is what this app is over here on the right hand side, which is it's basically like, it basically turns Xcode into cursor. Let's see, hold on. Alex sidebar. It's this thing. And it provides its own autocomplete, so that's what I was just going for. Just letting it use that. All right, let's go see what's going on in Pocket Group Entity. I was trying to do this and it wasn't working. All right, so we have a budget here. All right, so instead of budget ID, we need budget. I bet it's not gonna let me do this. But there is no view. Like, why is it saying that I have a view? I don't understand. So let budget ID equals service require. Sorry, this should be equals try hashtag require service dot budget dot ID. So that should give me a nice UUID there, so we can stop with this then and just say budget ID. And then what's wrong? So we're still value of budget entity has no, okay, so that should just be domain ID. There we go. Eventually we got there. All right, so we have a fetch descriptor, a budget group that's of type budget group entity. So this is just going to say, hey, what do you actually want to grab? Like, what type do you want to grab? I want to grab pocket group entity, and then what is that? And what do you want? All of them? Like, how do you want to filter that by? And I want the budget that has a domain ID. The ones that have a budget of the same IDs, basically. All right, so then we need to fetch this. Let pocket groups equal service fetch descriptor, right? What is wrong here now? No, not service. Contact container main context dot fetch. Okay. So now we have our pocket groups here. So now we can definitely check the count. So if the count is right, then we're good. So this should fail. Hopefully it actually compiles and everything just works, but it should just fail right now. Cool. It caught an error up here that says it's not implemented, which makes sense because it's not. Let's go fix that. Budget service. So we want to get past this part. And it should fail here. Great. So my expectation failed. The group count does not equal the default pocket group names count. Great. So now we have to go implement this, right? So let's, inside here, we need to create pocket groups with the, so create default pocket groups. Now the question is, do I assume, I should not assume that the pocket groups have not been made. So I need to first check if the check to make sure there are no pocket groups. So we want to basically do this exact same thing here, which is annoying. I think I actually have a budget repository. I know, I do know what happens when I assume things. So that's how we're gonna do this check here. To make sure that doesn't happen first, because yeah, I don't want to make an ass of you or me. All right, where I guess it's the pocket repository, I think is where this happens. So pocket repository type fetch pocket groups for budget ID. Sweet. So that's what we want to call guard. Try await pocket group. Your old boss used to say that so often. Pocket repository. See, like this actually, like I actually don't like their autocomplete at all because it doesn't actually work. Yeah, I know. Alright, let's go change this because this is not working for me whatsoever. Autocomplete, just turn off. That autocomplete's gone off, and we'll go back and turn on what I had turned off. I don't understand. Okay, whatever. Sorry if it sucks. I told it to download 2 gigabytes of information, so we'll see what happens. All right, so fetch pocket groups with the budget ID, which is guardlet budget. Else return. Let's actually do a logger here. .log category dot budget service dot error. No budget set. Let's go fix this error now. Budget service, great. Import OS log. Yeah, great. And then we can do budget.id. Oh, and then dot is empty. Else return. Logger.log. This budget already has pocket groups, so do not want to set up defaults ones again. Right? Because we can only set up default pocket groups if there are no pocket groups to set up. So I think that makes sense. I'm guessing that I actually am, yeah, that's fine. We can follow loose TDD. Should I have custom errors or just returning out like this just fine? I think this is going to be a common error that I'll have to deal with. So let's go ahead and find those errors. I'll just put budget service error, no budget set. Let's do, so these are just data errors. I want that in here. Cool. Great. That's still implemented here. Let's inside a domain. Identifiable error. We're gonna make this protocol for errors called identifiable error. It's just gonna give me an ID on these custom errors and make sure I conform to an identifiable error so that whenever I log them in analytics, I can actually have a proper, like, what this error is and stuff like that. I'm kind of stealing this from Telemetry Deck. I love Telemetry Deck, but I'm not using it right now. Telemetry Deck. Identifiable. I'm going to be using PostHog for this, but it has this thing called to separate the ID and like error, basically, so that the ID can just be logged nicely. So you have a message, which is different with the localized description, and then you have the ID, which is actually what the error, like the code for the error, right? So let's do a protocol identifiable error, conforms to error, string, right? That should be enough. Yeah. A string and get. We'll have to go and adjust some things with this, but that's fine. Let's do string. And then we can also give an optional message. Yeah. So we'll do a message here. var message. Yeah, perfect. I think most of these are going to be like whatever case dot not implemented message. But I don't, that's fine, whatever. Just let name. I guess actually message works. Sure. Error. Found. I know we don't conform to it yet. It's fine. We will. Type not found. It see like then I'm going to want to say like what was not found. So then we do let type I'm doing a lot of work that doesn't make sense right now. So then this will be error.localized description. Again and again. That's fine, I think. Let me go back and read this just to make sure. Let's just do a self.value. I guess that works. Because I could just do a string. Meh. Alright, we'll keep it. Alright, I will go and fix my there's some like analytics I can fix right now. I'm not going to do that right now because I'm already on a tangent. It's fine. Okay, but where was I? Budget service. Here, I want to throw no budget set. Oh, and I want to conform this to identifiable error. Let's just make this, do this as a string easily. Maybe I don't want message. I might. We'll see. We'll see what happens. Message might be too much. Message is too much. Let's take it out. Let's just do ID for now. And you know what? If I want message, I can pass it into the analytics call. Whoops. Sorry, y'all. This is what I get for not planning things out. Hopefully that's why you watch, because you want to see me actually figure things out on the fly. All right. I think we're back. That should convert. Great. I still don't know if this should throw an error. Thought processes, else it's just a lecture. That is fair. I'm glad it's good. Thought process is me deciding, yanking back and forth. It's a great time. All right, we're actually going to do that. All right, so decide if this should throw an error or not at some point. Not important to do right now, but we'll do this. You know what I just realized is that it should not be, it should be greater than 1. Try await is less equals 1. No, sorry. Is less than or equal to 1. So, the reason why I'm gonna comment this so I remember later. The reason why this should be less than or equal to 1 is because there is a system. There is a system. Where'd it go? This one. There's a system that has 2 that cannot be, I forgot what I called it. So there is a system pocket type. This cannot be deleted. So if the... See, the issue is, do I want the system to be set up all at once? Yes. So then actually we're going to do this dot empty. Is empty. Never mind. Just kidding about that. Scoats, hello. You might put the computed var ID into a protocol extension for the identifiable error there. Yeah. And that way, instead of me having to rewrite it every single time, my identifiable error doesn't conform to string right now. I guess I could. Right? Whatever. Error. Inheritance from a... Sorry. It doesn't conform to string. What did telemetry type say to do? Deck say to do? Yeah, on the enum string. You might put the var ID into a protocol extension for identifiable error there. So... How does that work, though? Because it's not... Can I do, like... So, extension... Could I do... Like, an extension if enum on all enums that conform to identifiable error? Like, is that something that's possible? Like, I know you could do, like... Oh, hey. Nice. All right. Maybe. Oh, I don't need a public, though. Huh. So, okay. So that was kind of cool, Apple. I liked that. Where I just kind of wrote what I wanted, and then Apple was like, here's kind of what you want. Please just do it. So now, in theory, I think I can get rid of this. Oh, but it doesn't conform to string, right? So, like, I'd have to conform to string here. Right? And now it conforms because identifiable has this raw value. Yeah, it was a little bit more complicated because I would have to specifically target error, like enums, because enums have the raw value. So, like, you know, I could do that, right? Like if this was like an enum. And then what you said would work correctly. But because it's just a protocol, you can't make a protocol inherit like string like that. But this is kind of cool. So as long as there's a raw representable and that raw value is a string type, we can do this. Kind of neat. We do something similar. I do something similar at work. We do something similar at work with like arrays, which is super nice. So where if like an array is of a certain type, you can do something like on the extension. So this is basically the same thing, but with enums. All right. I can also then get rid of this, and we can figure out. See, and like I want this to be an identifiable error. And this one, because it's going to have this missing relationship with the string, makes sense to do. Switch on self. Do I want that to be part of my ID? Like the string itself? Probably not. That's just an extra property. Right? Like, I don't really care. Like the string is just an extra property. So when I log it, I know I can like log it with that string. I could make the protocol enforce raw value string. I think, but this way is better. But this way is better. Also, sorry for longer distraction. Oh no, totally fine. I think you're right. I think there probably is a way, but I don't want all identifiable errors to conform to string, or else it, not conform, but to enforce like that type, or else I get something weird, like in places where I want to pass in like extra information to the error. Like I have this one with missing a relationship. And then I can actually like throw which relationship is actually missing, like that kind of thing. So that would be cool if I didn't want to do something like that. And that's mainly, I think, going to be for analytics anyway, though. So it's a weird situation there. All right, so we have our... No, I welcome the distractions. I would not stream if I didn't want distractions. I'm also learning something new. This was a really cool solution. Also to see... Where'd it go? Also to see, like... Xcode do that was also really cool. It was worth the distraction. All right, so I don't think this is going to throw an error here. We'll just return. All right. So we need to actually... Now that we know... So now that we know that there are no... check to make sure there are no pocket types already on the budget. Do not want to remake system pocket groups. So we don't want to remake the system pocket groups or give defaults since the user has already adjusted it somehow. So now, because there are none, we can start make defaults. So I have where did it go? I have all the names here of the default pocket groups that I want. I have and the pocket, so let's do it. I feel like I'm still duplicating a lot of code from like my back end to my front end, which I think makes sense in this case because I want the iOS app to be able to work without necessarily having to rely on the back end, like to store all the data. So like and it's just kind of running a sync engine back and forth type of deal. And like if you happen to be without a budget, without cell service, you should still be able to manipulate your budget, whether that's input transactions or like see what's left. You should be able to do that, or even create a budget for all I know. Like that's fine. Like you shouldn't have to have connectivity to do that. Yeah. So duplicating this logic kind of makes sense in my mind right now. We'll see if it stays that way. All right, so we're gonna make the default. So let system pocket type I am never going to remember that I call it pocket group instead of pocket type. And let's actually go to pocket group and give these defaults. I don't actually know the point of me putting as default here. I don't remember why I wanted to mark if it was a default one or not. I don't think I need that. But I do know if a system, if true, then do not ever delete. So before we check if a pocket group can be deleted, before we ever delete a pocket group, we have to say whether or not, check whether or not if it's a system one. Yeah. And equals dot now. Okay, so the only thing I really should have to fill in is the budget ID, the name, details can also just be empty, and order index. Makes sense to me. So let's make this better. Budget.id, name, system details. I shouldn't have to fill in. That's not a thing. This should be true. 0, and I shouldn't have to fill these in anymore. Right? Great. I'm just not using it now, so that should be an issue. All right, and then let's do a... So it should be pocket repository dot insert pocket group for a given pocket group, which is system pocket group. And this is going to be mad because it should be try await. And does it not return the... I mean, it doesn't need to return the pocket group, I guess. It just creates it. So instead of this count to 0, if I run this, it should be count 1, and we should be closer. That is the goal here. Did it finish? Why? Thrown. What do you mean it doesn't? It should conform to error. Type does not conform to identifiable error, so let's string. Ah, okay. Sure. I should still be able to do this. And instead of that, localized description. And that should, I think, solve my issue. No. Oh, this is what happens when I don't. Yep, and then fix the pocket group entity to take off as default. Oh, and then there should be one more. When I erase properties, I have to make sure I replace it everywhere, because if I don't, it's not going to go away. Okay, where now? No, there should not be. Oh, I understand. Always one more. Okay, so let's go back to here and try running it again now that it builds. All right, so we have one pocket group, which is great. So let's make the next one. So let housing. I really should add these as like static functions on the pocket group, like repository to make instead of inside the service, but here we are. What's up? You want out? Okay. I don't even know, when did you get in here? She's leaving. It's Sydney. Alright. Sorry, the cat wanted out. Alright, let's see if I can get one more in before the ad break starts. Sensitive system. Let's do housing. And then we want to do housing. I want to rename the system. Oops. And run it again. And then I think we are golden and we beat it. Not golden, but as long as this hits 2, which it does, we're good. All right, I'm going to take a break. Going to stand up. There's an ad starting on Twitch, so now it's like a good time for me to take a break. So I will be back in like a minute or so. a very crazy person. And I keep my system light and dark mode based on it's like the automatic thing. So whenever, so like when it turns sunset, when the sun sets, like it switches into dark mode, and when the sun rises, it's in light mode. Very weird, I know, but it gets it. It's because it stays light for so long here where I am now. All right, so we have the housing. Let's keep going here. Oh, instead of 1, 2, food. Anyway, so now we're in dark mode, which is always fun, right? Food, transportation. Oh. Oops. Nope. What's going on? Let's entertainment. 2, 3. Why don't my up and down arrow keys work anymore? Am I in a weird... Did I get into Vim mode by any chance? It's just odd that my up and downs don't work. No? I don't know. I don't know what's going on. Why my up and downs don't work. That's annoying though. And then let's savings. Maybe I just wasn't pushing the right buttons. 5. That looks right. Transport, food, entertainment, savings. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So now I think this test will finally run, or finally pass. Cool, we have all 6 done. Great. All right, so this only checks like that the counts are right. This doesn't actually check that everything else is right. So let's do enumerated, expect name, right? So this should go through each index and check at least that the name is right. Is that going to give me the right order too, as long as they stay in that order, right? System, housing, food, transportation, entertainment, savings. Yeah. That should all be correct there. No, what's wrong? So food equals transportation, and this is transportation equals food. So did oh, I did do that. That was my bad. So food should come before transportation. Great. So that is done. So we have default pocket groups set up and accounted for. Okay, so let's go ahead and get that added to here. So much has happened and it's fine. Features, set up default pocket groups. That's fine. All right, so now what's next? So now we want to create default pocket definitions. That makes sense to me. All right, so let's do that next. Just making sure I'm not missing anything in chat or anything. So again, they're all for the same budget. I'm just going to copy. Groups for the given, for the current budget in the service, for the budget in the service. Creates default pocket definitions for the budget and default pockets. So first, we want to make sure that there are no. Check to make sure there is a budget selected. Oh, we should async throws this. I put everything as async. I don't actually know if async is actually, yeah. Well, async is necessary, I guess, because I'm talking to and from like the model actors and the repositories, and then we'll convert it into main actor when necessary. That makes sense. Okay, save this budget. So now we need to make sure there are no pocket definitions for the budgets. So let's do the same check here. Fetch pocket definitions for the budget ID. So pocket definitions are like metadata. These are going to be what stays the same. What stays the same between each budget period. So kind of like your pocket name, your category name, your what do I have even? Why am I trying to say this without just going to tell me what it is? Pocket definition. So yeah, your name, if there's any like details or notes that you've given it. Oh, was I calling it a kind? Not a pocket? No, yeah. So so the pocket kind, so whether it's regular amount to assign or a credit card, so think of like, anyway, there's special pockets, so that's what's here. What order it is, those always stay the same no matter what budget period it is, whereas there's like a pocket instance that's going to hold how much you actually allocated, how much you've spent, that kind of jazz. Excuse me, and what month it goes into, because those are unique per month, right? Or per period at some point. Like technically the app could support like custom periods, but we're not going to deal with that. That is feature scope. Oh, that was old Jay would let custom periods come into play on first round. We're not doing that here. We are doing a little bit more higher level than MVP. All right, so first we need to. So these are setup pocket types. I guess this should actually be called create default pocket groups. So that creates the budget. This creates the default pocket groups. I think there's going to be like a whole function that ties these all together. Anyway. All right, so we know for system, Create system pocket definitions. Do I actually need to... So every pocket definition also needs a type. This is kind of why I made them in the same function before, where I had like pocket definition and types like written together. Because like I would need this pocket group's ID, right? Well, I guess I could still grab it because I know the name. A pocket repository type. How do I grab a pocket grab? Oh, I don't have something to just fetch a specific pocket group. This fetches all the pocket groups. Is my git commit not working? My commit hook? Hold on. Add function to get, what am I getting? To get pocket group by name. No, my git commit's not working. My hook's not working. One sec. I thought I had set this up, but I guess not. Is this dot? Okay, so let's try this now. I don't know what did this actually change? Okay. But let's see if I can get this to run now. I'm just curious. Git add dot git commit dash m test file commit. There we go. All right, now it's working. So I only noticed it wasn't working because these were 4 spaces and not 2 spaces. I am a 2-space type of person when it comes to my code. So that's what I did there. What's the full one? I think I just have a format. Let's make sure I run this correctly. Format is not found. No, there is one. What? No, it's literally right here. What do you mean it's not found? I don't understand why it's not finding it. Okay, cursor, help me. Okay. Okay, so I was just running it wrong. It's just scripts. Great. Run it bash. Oh, so I could run it bash. I could, or I could just do this. So now, can I do... No, I still can't. Why? Okay, so I just need to get rid of the dot. Okay, great. So now everything's been formatted, and we can push up one giant commit that shows everything's formatted. Thanks. Format project. Again, the most important things are what I focus on these streams. Like, why isn't my stuff all formatted correctly? All right, so we have this fetch pocket groups. We need to go and implement this, though. Fetch pocket group by name. So that is implemented in data repository. This is the Pocket actor repository. And then we want to put it at the end here, func by name string. So let bling 0 dot name equals name. Should I be smart about this and maybe do like dot lowercase? There's like something I can do. Oh, JK, I can't anyway. It doesn't matter. That's fine. I don't really need a sort by, to be honest. Let group entities equals try model context dot fetch descriptor return group entities dot map transform and it should just be the first. Found pocket group equals guardlet else. This should be a data error dot not found. Oops, throw. And then return found pocket group. Oh, I meant try here. That should be enough. What's wrong? Sure. What's wrong? Just fix it for me. That is fine. Xcode. Okay, so this is going to fetch the pocket group by the name. So we know that the system name is called system. There has to be a better way for me to do this at some point. But here we go. So let pocket group ID equals try await fetch pocket repository dot fetch pocket group by dot ID. Cool, so we have the pocket group ID. So now let pocket definition equals ID. That can be fine. I should never default that. Type ID. That should probably be renamed to Pocket Group ID, whatever. Currency. Oh, that's going to come from the budget. I forgot that was asked. System. Order index equals dot now. Equals dot now. All right. Yeah, so the is system and the order index. I forgot about the currency. Again, future thinking J, this allows like multi-currency, I think, if I'm thinking correctly, but we'll see. Oh, whoops. All right, so that looks fine. So we don't need to define that. Budget ID. You know what? We are going to do this smartly. Create definition. Because we only need the Pocket Group ID, so we could actually get that. And then we can just do this. Group name. Right? And then by group name, get the ID here. Oh, but it works, but it doesn't work, because then I need to do like a definition name. Nah, this is gonna be too hard. Okay. I'm just gonna do it the slow way. Waiting. What are these called? I had them all in the tests. There's a better way for me to do this, where it's not all string based. I need to figure that out at some point. We don't need that. This is not to assign. Group ID. Budget currency. True. Order index 0. Sure, it doesn't really matter. Okay. These are set to true, but they should actually be false. Whoops. Because these can be deleted. I should probably add tests for the falseness of this. Default pocket groups is system value. Only reason I can see myself changing these at some point, and then the test will catch me and explain why. Make okay. Cool. So we have the pocket definition here for the amount to assign. Amount. And then we also need waiting for. Sure. Pocket group. Great. So these cannot be deleted. These pocket definitions can never be deleted as they are required to perform to budget correctly. Sure. All right. We need to actually make these now. So pocket repository dot insert pocket definition into amount to assign, and then we're waiting for. Oh, and we need to also async. I mean, try await. Or is it await try? Okay, great. Sometimes I just forget which ones to do. Cool. I didn't really write a test in the proper way for these. So let's make sure I do this right. So budget ID, great. I can grab from that. So try, await, create. Cool. I'm gonna be lazy and Command T and just duplicate that. Create housing pocket definitions. So this is under housing. Let def1. We're going to be even lazier and just start this in a different way. Let def2. This is not amount to assign. This should just be rent, mortgage, regular, false. Great. What's this one? Electricity. Water. It's really exciting stuff, y'all. Maintenance. We came up with all these categories on my last stream. All right, so this is it for housing. So then we can do create housing. Sweet. Yeah, so we came up with these on my last stream, just as to like what would be good defaults for people, just give so that you're not at a blank budget and you're like, shit, what do I do? This kind of allows you to like see like, oh, here's some categories you can put in, stuff like that. Do I actually want to keep? I'm just getting bored. That's the only thing that's happening right now. Great. These definitions, these pocket definitions are just used as placeholders, and users can delete them if they want to. We will create groceries, dining out, drinks. And then let's make sure we put these in here. Try await pocket repository. Or no, wrong thing. Whoops. Create food pocket definitions. Transportation. And we'll do create entertainment. And then create savings. Great. Close that. Oh, food. We can create what's after food, transportation, parking, fuel, and maintenance. And these are transportation. Great. And these are going to be what? Entertainment. Movies. Vacation. Shit. What I just noticed is that I'm missing this try await on Pocket Definition 3, and so I need to go make sure that is working on all of them. Three. 1, 2, and I forgot 3 again. Done. I'm guessing housing is actually probably fine. Yeah. Okay. I bet you I have to go back and fix these two. Hold on. Yeah. Food. Great. Alright, so these are entertainment. We have movie vacation. One more is left. And this is savings. So this is emergency, and why do I have vacation twice? What is going on there? That doesn't seem right. I totally do. All right, well, we'll leave it, whatever. You can save for a vacation, or your entertainment can be vacations. That's fine. All right, so these should now all be fine to create pocket definitions for. I don't want to write tests right now. I know I was gonna be like, I'm gonna do this test-driven development stuff. I don't want to right now. I need to work on something that's not services and budget related, but I need them at the same time. I need to create the initial budget period also. Let's do mark default pocket definitions. So these are just creating the default pocket definitions. What is needed for a budget period to be made? We just need the budget ID, the start date, end date created at, updated at. So I actually feel like the created app, these need to all be in this create budget, because when you create a budget, you need all of it, right? So like it really should be in. It's gonna mess up my tests though. Well, I can actually in my tests, instead of just calling the function here, we will inside create budget just do what I just said. Create right. So then we also need to make initial budget period this month. So I do this current date instead of doing date equals dot now, instead of just date dot now down here. So whenever I do testability, I can base it off the current date and use concrete dates. But I'll more like 99.99999% of the time, I'm gonna do current date as just the default value. That 0.0001 is the testing. Budget periods, right? And then we'll also do var active period. But there's something in here that actually I guess and create initial budget period, or also create the period instances, like the pocket instances. That makes sense. Okay. So we actually just need all right, this seems like a lot of lines here. Where should I cut this? I think pocket definitions. Oh, but it's only internal to the private. Okay, so then here though we could do private instead of privates. It's okay. I really want to block like public, but like the way that private works doesn't ever jive in my mind. I don't like this, but it's fine. It is what it is because that's how Swift is coded. I mean, I guess we could move these there too. Yeah, this makes sense. Import OS log. It keeps like a very bare bones like initial class, but I think it'll work. All right, so we need to make the initial budget period, set the active budget period based on the initial period. What else? I think that's basically it for when you create a budget. These are all the things that need to be set. Oh, we need to create Pocket instances. Create instances. Pocket instances for all Pocket definitions when the initial budget period, when the budget period is made. So func create budget period for start date creates a budget period for a given date. Most of the time, so like for a given date, so this allows the user to pass in like a future date. So if I want to like create one for June, I can be in this month, but I pass in a June date, it should be able to make one for June. So a budget period is what? Everything. ID. All right, so let for given date, first day of month, get first day of the month from the given day. Is it not? Is it not gonna do this time? No, it's not. It was really great the first time. Like, whenever I did this in, with that, like, thing with the enum. Like, that was cool. I wish it did it all the time. And this is where like AI really like I know what to do. I just need like some reminder of like, oh, go into calendar components and stuff like that. We should define a calendar. So let first day components equal calendar dot components year dot month from given date. Sup, Michaela? How's it going? Ooh, my ad is about to hit in 1 minute, so I'm actually gonna go to as soon as you join. I'm about to go take the dog for. I should be back now. Thank you. I need to go take the dog for a walk while the break for just take him outside real quick, not for a walk. While the break is going on, the ad break's about to hit. So I will be back in like 5 or 10 minutes. So sit tight, watch the ad for me. If you're on Twitch, just help me out. And I will be back in a couple minutes. All right, you don't have to. I was muted again because I switched scenes. I don't know why. I guess it muted me again. Hello, hello. All right, so, and I'm not even on the freaking right screen. Oh my goodness, what am I? Like, to get the last day of the month. You bumped up the volume on your phone and you briefly heard me talk and it's scared you half to death. It happens. That happens a bit often to people. So you never know when, like, it's gonna happen. Like, when I'm just gonna start talking. Alright, so this adds 1 month minus a day. Okay, that's fine. Great. So this gets the first day of the month. Let first day, last day. Perfect. So then we can say, let new budget period equals budget period What am I working on? I am working on my budgeting app. This is the app that I am hoping to replace You Need a Budget with in my personal workflow. That's what I'm doing. I actually have started this project or started ideation on it sometime last year in 2024. I know for sure. And then I picked it back up recently whenever I got the email saying that my subscription was going to renew, increasing by $10 or so. So it's now over $100. So we are now building a envelope budgeting app that works very similarly to You Need a Budget. Because I still have not found an app that has the right set of features like You Need a Budget does for me. Which, granted, might just mean I need to suck it up and pay over $100 a year for my budgeting app. But why do that when I can make it myself? So that's what I'm doing. Once upon a time, you had an expense tracker app. That is right. You did. I remember that app. It was a bit ago. But yeah, that's what we're doing. That's what I'm doing. Guardlet budget equals else throw no budget set. Why did this not async throws? You'll get back to it maybe eventually sometime. As all good side projects go, eventually sometime they will be gotten, but who knows when that is because there's always higher priorities. What's the back end? It is going to be so my back end is a Swift server, Hummingbird based back end with a Postgres at some point. I don't know why I was like, here, let me switch to it and see it. It's very not easy to read. Whoops. Where'd it go? I just want this one. Yeah, so I'm doing a Swift server using Hummingbird. And we are going to be using Postgres as a database to get in here. And it's just basically going to be like a sync engine, especially for the iOS and macOS clients. I'm assuming I'm going to get to the macOS client of like everything can be done locally without having to be connected to the database on the iOS side, which is why we're basically rebuilding all of these services that I had before. And then we are going to, and then I will work on somehow syncing the back end and the front end together. Eventually I'm also going to use Clerk as the authentication system. They're nice. I've seen some YouTube videos over it. They only deal with authentication. I haven't dealt with anything in authentication in this, but I got tired of working on the back end recently. You can catch the last couple videos on that. Haven't heard, yeah, Clerk. I'll pull that up in just a moment. I got tired of working on the back end, so I was like, you know what? Let me get the front end, get the iOS client written to where it's all persisting, comment. Yes. Where it's all, thank you. I forgot I even had those. Where it's all persisting locally in the on SwiftData, get all that logic written out, get like the UI and stuff working. I could, in theory, even do a test flight on that and just get people trying it and see, you know, what's working, what's not. And then while I'm building like the back end, right. And then let it build out and stuff like that. So we'll see what happens. Yes. Let's get your comment written, on 2025-28. Oh, whoops. 05-28. Yeah, I don't need those. Can I likely ban evader? Can we, how do I completely ban? Boom. Oh, I did. You're right. Copy. Hold on, this is what happens. You're right, I did. There we go. I was looking and straining, and you were right. I did. Don't worry. I was gonna double check. Lots of things going on. But yes, we got it in. If you are watching on Twitch, you can redeem your Twitch points to put your name in whatever project I am currently working on, as long as I am able to fully write in it, which usually I am if I'm working on stream. So yeah, welcome in. I mean, so yeah, you got another project. I'm curious, like if you go and you search like my sort, which I guess I don't work on everything open source. But if you go and search like my GitHub repos, I wonder how many projects your name is actually in. That would be a fun little thing. Sweet. So that's there. That's in. Oh, Clerk. I was gonna pull up. Where'd it go? So Clerk is what I'm using for my, like Clark, like Clark Kent, but Clerk with an E. Clark, but with an E instead of an A. A Clerk. Anyway, this is what I'm using for my sign-ins. They have, they actually have a native iOS SDK, which is cool. Where'd it go? Not only is it native, like it supports SwiftUI really, really well, which is super awesome and why I'm actually choosing to go with it. Like all their examples are in SwiftUI and stuff like that. Like it's pretty easy. I mean, it's pretty, and it is pretty easy to use. On my other project, the bathroom finding location one, I had started using it and it was working really nicely for me. So I'm going to keep going with it. And this is what I'll use whenever I do like authentication next, whenever I decide to put authentication in. But again, we're going to just keep kind of trying to get the iOS version, like a standalone version without needing a backend until it's time to do the sync engine type things. So that the authentication might take like a second step. What do I want to add? I want to add get status. That's right, right? Did I spell that right now? Yeah. Redeemed. support. Okay. Yeah, so you found it in 3 projects in my GitHub repo, but it came out 27 results because I forked your repo. That makes sense. Yeah, that makes sense. That's not, I mean, that's a good chunk, I feel like. 3 is a really nice chunk. And this isn't in my specific, and this, because I'm gonna hopefully launch it, is in my like work repository, my like business repository, like organization. So this wouldn't be in there, and it's closed source, so you won't see this one either, but it's there. And it's in there twice as a git commit on main. Oh, it's PocketBudget. There we go. See? Boom. Anyway. All right, let's, my goal is actually, not my goal, but I do think I will probably open this up so people can see the source code more than just viewing on Twitch and YouTube. I just haven't gotten there yet. I would like the app to be closer to being finished before I do that. All right, back to the budget service. Where was I? Adding the budget periods. First a new budget period. So now we need to actually write this, insert the budget period into the, so we need to insert the budget period into the repository. Nope. Budget repository. Yep. Insert. And this should be a try await. Yeah. So then I create it, put it in there, which is gonna be great. How does that get mapped again? So we're gonna go into actor. Okay, so it does. A budget period entity does use that domain ID. That's what I was thinking. So all my entities use like a domain ID to be made. I'm realizing this might cause issues for syncing, but maybe I'll have to add in something new, but we'll figure it out when that gets there. Anyway, so domain ID gets added. Yeah, so I should be fine to keep using this budget ID as this budget period ID there. I know. I mean, like I don't have to deal with local data storage to start. I could just do an online only app, but then I have to finish the back end. So it's not really like sync multiple devices. It's more so like in case. Yeah, I want to be able to sync multiple devices, but it's also the case of trying to, if I delete my app on my phone, I can just reinstall the app later and get it. But yes, you're right. That would cut down a lot of like logic, right, on syncing and stuff like that. But yeah, I would require me to finish the back end, which I don't. As I said, I was getting bored of building the back end, so I want to be able to do the front end. I want to be able to have them like kind of operate independently if needed, but like together at the same time, if that makes sense. So it's like, I do like the idea of mobile apps being offline first. So if like a user never wants to use my back end for whatever reason, then they shouldn't have to, basically. Like they can run it all locally and stuff like that. But if the user wants to start like storing and do cross-device syncing, or have the ability to like have, I don't know, delete the app and reinstall it, then yeah, they can use, they can create an account and use it that way. I really like that idea for iOS apps. We'll see. I mean, I could just completely change my mind like next week and decide, yeah, we have to finish it all. I also thought if I did the iOS app first, it would help me figure out the logic a little bit more before going into the server side of things. So like, because I want to be able to do it locally first, being able to, because I want to do it locally first, I have to figure out all that logic anyway. So I can kind of just copy paste from one to the other. I know that means my logic can get out of sync. So again, there's some pros and cons to this. So I have to think about it like a little bit further down. But I think this gives me, if I go down the path of I can build both, I can figure out what to do later. But I do think that you have the right choice. Depending, your app, if you're talking about the one I think you're talking about, the one you've been trying to get out, create like recently, and we're having issues with Apple, like that totally makes sense as an online only app. 100%. I totally get it. Yep, fruitful. I didn't know if you were wanting to call it out or not, but yeah, that makes sense to me as a like 100% online only app, because it's about like connecting with others at conferences. So that makes sense. But this is like a personal finance app that in my mind should be able to be accessed anywhere at any time, with or without internet. Okay, so we are creating the budget period. We also then need to you just didn't want to build syncing yet. Yeah. Yeah, I also understand not wanting to do that yet. It makes sense. It's like a, how complex do you want to make it, right? Before you actually know what you're doing with it. Current date. Oh, and we need to do a calendar. Oh, that's fine. Whoops, what happened? Current. All right, great. So then we want to, do I want to, so this creates a budget period, but it doesn't mark it as active. But that's fine. But should it? So as soon as you create a budget period, it should mark it as active because you're actively trying to go to that budget period if it's being made. So yeah, it should. So budget period. What's that called? Period, probably. Active period equals. Let's actually set this as a, should set as active bool equals true. And that way it works. I don't know why you would ever want to create a new budget period without setting it as active, but in case we do, it's just a quick flag. How am I saving currency like as an int? Yeah. Let's see. So we have the, hold on, I got you. What is going on here? No. Stop. Jeez. So we have a budget. I have it saved globally for a budget. So what you think the budget is actually going to have, like currency wise, what your main currency is going to be. It's going to default to US dollars. Off the back, I'm only going to support USD. I have these I should say off the back, I'm only supporting USD. I do have these flags in here, these like options in here that we could do other currencies, but for right now, let's just deal with one currency per budget. One currency on the budget. And then inside the budgets, we also have like the Anyway, everything is being stored as an int for allocated amount spent. It's all going to be based on integers, and then based on the currency on the Pocket definition and the Pocket which is what I'm considering like a category, right? So again, this is going to default to USD, or default to whatever the budget is itself, and then the user could technically go and change it if they wanted to at some point in the future. That future thinking to include this field. But yes, so all the amounts are being stored as integers, and then the currency will help me decide how many decimal places I need to go over. You questioned this simple question for like 3 days. I mean, it sounds like it's a simple question, but it's really like, do you support multiple currencies or do you not? And how do you do it without data loss necessarily? Like with the integers and decimal places and all that jazz. So from what I read was that integers were the easiest. You keep a currency field, and then the currency can decide how many decimal places need to go over and whatnot. The hard part, not the hard part, but I feel like it'll be hard if I ever want to do more than one. Thank you. Got the hydrate. The hard part will be if I ever want to do more than one currency, which I think I've set myself up for, but I don't think I will currently. I want to do the, I just want to focus on one currency right now. Even if that means only launching in the US, like, let's do that first and then build off more than that. You have a lot of points. That is impressive. Hopefully we'll see how many you get to use. I don't even know what all the things are necessarily. Well, I see them, but hopefully you get to use a lot of them. Especially now as I keep streaming a little bit more regularly. All right, so we have setting that as an active period. So now when a period's created, we need to create the instances. You're hoping to get back into streaming again too, sometime after Dub. Oh, that'll be fun. Nice. That'll be fun. You gonna be streaming Fruitful or another side project? So much to do before Dub. Oh, I'm sure. Because you're also putting on like the community kit thing, right? Which, if y'all haven't heard about, is a super... Which is super fun. It's a free conference with like meetups and such, hackathons, stuff like that. Highly, if you still haven't figured out your DC things or are going to Dub, highly suggest going to this. Michaela is obviously, I mentioned putting it on, helping with it. Who else? Here are all the great people. Michaela, Paul Hudson. I recognize half of these people because I actually followed them. Definitely suggest going and figuring it out. If you're going to be in Cupertino that time. If not, feel free to hang out with me on that Wednesday. Anyway, as we continue through as we dive through to figure out my goal in actually getting the iOS part done is that I can start doing the UI stuff and work with the new iOS 19 or iOS 26, depending on what actually happens at Dub. We will try to, I'm going to try to be in that zone so that I can actually do stuff with it. Yeah, of course. I wish I could make it this year, but it just wasn't in the cards for me. I did get back from San Francisco recently, so I was close and close to the right time, just not the right week. All right, so we need to, so we're going to create Pocket instances. So get all Pocket definitions for the budget. You're trying to, oh, my bad. It was impossible to avoid hearing the iOS 19 now the spoiler new number. Yeah, my bad. That's the only rumor. That is the only spoiler I actually have about Dub. That is it. Nothing else. There's nothing else. That has actually also already been talked about in chat here. So you will not hear anything else from me. I've been avoiding I'm avoiding it also. I don't like spoilers at the same time because I'm also like, Apple could just do whatever they want. They could say, you know what, actually, instead of doing whatever the rumor is today, we're going to go to actually using code words instead. You know, like, they could do whatever they want. They don't care. Big and all. Anyway, yeah, no, I am also big about spoilers, especially around hardware announcement, more so around the hardware announcements and the software announcements. But yeah, so my bad. I will keep that in mind for next time. So let's do this. So let's make this async throws again. Oh, well, first we need to guard let budget equals budget else throw. Oh, budget set. Budget.id. Sweet. Oh, I guess I really need to like tone down those like stream elements messages. They're really based on, I mean, they're based on time and then also how active chat is. So if chat is really active, we're going to get them a lot more. If chat's really slow, we don't get them nearly as often. But here we are. Let instances equals try await. You nonstop chatting is freaking them out. Yeah, a little bit. That's all right. It makes it lively. It's a fun time. Oh, this is actually going to fetch all the Pocket instances for the period ID. Oh, you know what? That's actually what I could do instead. Is if we're going to check and make sure that this is guardlet active period equals we can just do this. Throw budget service error dot no active period. Great. Let's add this. It's actually great. I forgot that this one existed. So let's check to make sure no instances are made yet. Yeah, I know, we haven't. It's been a while. And yeah, this is your first stream back, and I've been like really hit and miss on streams just with like different travel and stuff lately. So yeah, it's been a bit, and you've been like gallivanting around the world, but yeah, which has been awesome. Like to watch all the conferences and stuff go on. Guardlet. Try await. Pocket repository notes. Dot fetch instances by active period. Dot ID. Dot is empty. Else return. Logger dot info. Oh, sorry. Dot log category budget service dot info. And Pocket instances already exist for this period. Gallivanting around the world should have been your theme for the year. It's so accurate. It's a fun one to have. Broomster Ball, thank you so much for the follow. I really appreciate it. Welcome in. Feel free to say hi or don't. Up to you. I appreciate every follow. But yeah, gallivanting around the world. Yeah, that should have definitely been your yearly theme. It would have been a fun one. You could still make it your yearly theme. Just backdate it, right? And then make some posts about it and stuff. Or just, you know, it's a good time. All right, so we have these. We make sure that it's empty. Make sure there are no instances make sure no instances are made yet for the active period. Hey, Broomster Ball, what's up? Yeah, what am I programming? I am building a budgeting app. I forgot that I actually did a write-up on my website. Hold on. Posts. About like an intro. So this is Pocket Budget. It is an envelope budgeting app. The philosophy behind it is you budget every dollar into a pocket or a category or an envelope, depending on what it is. And yeah, that's what we're building. It's going to be backend is Swift using the Hummingbird framework with PostgreSQL. The iOS app is SwiftUI with SwiftData for persistence. And yeah, so that's the gist of what we're doing. I'm working on the iOS app currently. If you're interested in checking out this post that I'm reading from, there it is. Yeah, so I'm working on building the iOS app part of it, getting all that logic in so that there is like a local first. I started the backend. The backend's been fun, but I got bored just building backend, so I decided I need to go to the front end. And when I get bored with one, I'll switch to the other and just go back and forth for a bit. But this stream has all been focused on the iOS client side of things. Yeah, thanks. Appreciate it. I really just want to replace You Need a Budget in my stack, in my personal stack. So yeah. Nice. I've also been planning, Michaela, you're hoping to come back to Insta soon. I've also been planning my comeback for Insta. I think next month is going to be my comeback. I really want to like crank up on my like side income a bit, just as like, I like the idea of not putting all my eggs in one basket. And being a startup world, seeing all the layoffs and stuff happen, the economy currently, my job says we're really good, we're really stable, but you know, you just never know. So I'm trying to, like I said, getting the budget app going. This is hopefully going to take off and work if I get it shipped. Get Instagram going. I am still on the reels, but I got put into the bonuses, so I do that. All that kind of stuff. So yeah, I'm gonna also planning an Instagram, like come back to see if I can get reels, get the bonus going and get the, some affiliate stuff going, like the Amazon affiliates and stuff going again. But we'll see what happens. Your eggs are currently cracked, and that's the chaotic mood right now. It happens. That's okay. I mean, you've got time. You've got a lot of stuff going on. You know, it's all right. It's all right for them to be cracked. Yeah, Broomster Ball, thanks for dropping by again, the follow, getting the project explanation. I have all of my stuff over on YouTube. Also, like the previous live streams. That's a lot to ask someone to go and watch. But, oh, that's the wrong YouTube. My bad. Let me give you the right YouTube link. Channel. So that's my vlog YouTube, which is fun, but not where all my projects are. There we go. So yeah, that's the YouTube channel. I put all my previous, like, I stream at the same time to YouTube, so all the previous coding sessions are there as well. So as I said, those were previously the backend side of things. How do I currently use AI in my current project / in general? Oh, that's a really good question. I've been using it lately to actually figure out like the tasks that need to be done. So I've started trying to build out the tasks, figure out like supporting documents first. So like, where'd it go? Here it goes. Like I built out like an entity diagram. Hold on. Here, it show. Well, this is yeah. So I built out this entity diagram. To kind of just show like all the different relationships, stuff like that. Where did my... And then I also did one for like the server side of things, so I could figure out what the so it's a lot more intense, right? It figures out what all the different values that I need to store and stuff like that. So I'm using AI to generate that kind of stuff. I use AI to also generate like I come up with like features. So like actually I used AI a lot to generate this project to start with. I did like, I used it to prompt MVP features, MVP UX, stuff like that. Had it walk me through like step by step so that it could create these documents for me. And then I popped all that into like trying to figure out what my entity diagram would necessarily look like for this. Yeah, I'm using Mermaid. So this is the entity. So this is entities.mmd. So it's a Mermaid format is what it's called. It's the same thing that you can do in like Notion. They have a Mermaid thing for the if you do the backticks, 3 backticks, and then Mermaid in the style there, it'll generate this. So it's a specific style. Mermaid diagrams. Lunch turned into a 2-hour-long work meeting. Gross. Ugh, that's always a gross one, Mono. But yeah, Michaela's just asking how I use like AI in my like workflow. So I was explaining how I use it to like generate these like diagrams. I also generated like a task list of things to make sure I'm like getting the most stuff right, stuff like that. And then from there, there's a lot of different things that can go on. It just kind of depends on like what I want at that time. So I'm usually in Cursor, but sometimes I'm in Alex, depending on what I'm working on. Server side, I actually mainly stay in Cursor because I don't like using Xcode, even though I'm using Swift for server side stuff. But I have used it to make basic, I like it for a lot of basic things that I'm going over and over again. So like in this chat, I needed to make a new function called XYZ. It should look exactly like this previous function, but gave it a new name. And it basically did that for me, which was really nice. So if I go into this budget service type, we can see here. So we have all these functions, housing with the exact same format of these functions. It just basically generated all these functions for me without me having to do this. And this is on my last stream. Yeah, I did this on my last stream and it was pretty nifty. Just stuff like that. I use it as helpers. So whenever you popped into the stream, I was working on the, I was working on this, right? The first day and last day. I knew it was possible. I didn't quite remember how to do it. So I just said, hey, Alex, give me, like, how do I get the first day of the name of the month? And then it did it. And then I adjusted for what I needed, right? So, like, it didn't give me this calendar equals .current. I just do that by default if I want to do testing, which I do at some point. Stuff like that. So that's, sorry, I'm using a lot of ums. That is really how I use it. I use it as like helpers and to like start work basically, and to help me formulate like the tasks that I actually need, or like supporting document to make it more clear on what I'm working on. Sometimes I've dabbled in the like, I'm going to create a certain task, tell it that I need to do this task, and then we work on it together, like back and forth. It generates like the base that I need. I adjust it. I get stuck. I go back and chat and work back and forth on that. Hold on. I have a project I did that in recently. I can share the chat, like how I was working on that. So I did that in this project here. I wanted to test like building an app from scratch, basically with AI, see how vibe coding works completely. I started off, I have like this chat. I have like a bunch of different notes. This is just me trying to figure out like the best way to work with AI. So I have this support folder, I had these units of work I generated, again, with the AI to figure out, like, how to make these different features and stuff work. And then, yeah, I haven't either. This is why I'm attempting to. So then I have all these units of work. I copy the specific unit of work that I want into its own folder, into its own file, so I can just focus on that file, adjust it as I need to. And then I have this prompt here that, again, I've used different AI tools to help generate this prompt of, like, I'm not getting what I want. How can I adjust it to get what I want? Stuff like that, back and forth a lot. And then figuring out where to put in, like, different fillers. So, like, I would copy this, paste it here. So today we're working on, I'd say what I'm working on as 029. And then I'd also reference, like, what do I need in here to make it work correctly. So notes, note service, note list, item, like stuff like that. And then I hit enter, and it's going to go and do its thing and try to build it for me. Because my prompt says to please explain your reasoning, and before coding, please evaluate everything that needs to happen. It gives me a list first of what we have to do and explains it. And then, like, we go back and forth on that plan. And then I can say, yeah, let's actually build the note list view model then. It kind of works. I still get really frustrated at it. There's lots of frustration on my end from it, but I'm working on it. It is a work in progress. It is something I'm learning to properly use as a tool in my aid. I really like it. It really does well. It really shines in cases where I know what I want to do and I just need it to fill in the blanks. So again, I know I've done this pattern to get the first and last date several times, but it's just something that slips my mind, right? So it works really well in this case for me, and that saves me a Stack Overflow, saves me a Google. It can just do it and fix it for me. I've also really used it on SwiftUI animations when, like, design asks for a specific chain of events to do like fade this up, then do that, then fade this part down, and then spring this one in, like giving it the exact information that I need, like, to complete that animation. It also shines really well with that. Anyway, that was a really long-winded thing that I don't know made any sense, but that is how I use AI and how I'm trying to learn how to use AI. Do you have a link with some kind of useful websites or tutorials? For what, Brewmaster Ball? Are you looking for, like, the AI stuff I was talking about? Because there was a good Substack article about it that I had it pinned for the longest time. Where'd it go? It was in my... but yeah, what tutorials are you exactly looking for? I know I'm in a break now, but... who was it? Subscriptions? Oh, it's this one. Where'd it go? I think. Hold on. Maybe it wasn't. Oh, this looks good, though. I will need to check this out also. But this looks like a good one for prompting. And then, but this wasn't the one that I looked, that I had, though, I thought. Oh, maybe it is. Hold on. It was a bit ago. I have it in my work browser tab, so I can go and read it and try it. I should go read that one also. This isn't it. I thought it was. I need to read this, though. I really thought that was, but I guess not. Oh, here it is. Refactoring. This is where I started like learning about doing more of the like first guide it into creating the units and then guide it to not. Just some really some guidance stuff, really. Well, like I you talking about like I guess like I'm more so like asking like what topics, like are you talking about like Swift, like programming in general, like that kind of stuff, like, or like other things? Because like if you're just getting started, like I highly suggest like Free Code Camp. If you're okay with starting with like web learning, because that's just going to be a really quick return on investment. Like Free Code Camp, like web dev in general is really low friction in my mind. Just being able to write an HTML, write CSS, and then add in some JavaScript to recognize some clicks and stuff like that. The like once you start getting into Swift, there's like hacking with Swift and hacking with Swift, code with Chris. What's the third one? Sean Allen. Those three are really great really great YouTube videos or sites or tutorials. Backend programming, I have no idea. I know Michaela Karen, who's in the chat, has done a couple of like Vapor tutorials. I've kind of just picked it up from work. Work said one day, we need to make a Swift server. You said you were interested in coding all things Swift, and you seem to know some keywords from backends. Here you go. And I got thrown into Hummingbird, and I've just been kind of learning it as I go at this point. I have a little bit of like snippet art type articles on my website, but yeah, Swift server is fun. I agree. How to make money from apps. Mono, that's why we're all here. How I make money from apps is by running a Twitch stream of building apps that never ship, and I have affiliate money coming in from the Twitch program. That is the way that I make money from apps. And how I get money from apps that never ship is I just keep streaming, and y'all watch me like tear my hair out as I start another project. Highly don't recommend as a sustainable source of income. You still don't think you know anyone who has actually made decent money from apps. I have actually, okay, so I made a joke that I make money from like Twitch stream. I mean, I do. I have the ad program obviously like turned on for Twitch, but yeah, I don't make decent money. I make enough to cover my, like, I have subscriptions in an app that I have launched that cover like the App Store basics, and that's it. Yeah, I'm sure, Michaela, you probably do know many people that have made decent money. The guy who runs Xcodes, who makes Xcodes, opened up some like donations for it, and he gets something from there. Yeah, but Michaela knows people. See, yeah, like your network is like really big, Michaela. I know of people. I just don't know like them personally, I think, at this point. I feel like if I could just launch an app, like I could finish an app and not get distracted by something, like something could happen. That's also kind of the point of doing this local only part first, is that I can start building the app to make something to happen. Okay. Hopefully that helped. I gave good links or gave like some suggestions on where to go. I know the links I dropped in the chat were mainly for they were mainly for like vibe coding links, but I think those are still useful. Those are really useful for like us, like regarding the AI workflow chat. None on the Discord that you know of, like I'ma quit my job sort of money or reduce work to part-time for it. Knows people. Yeah. Yeah, I don't. again, like, I know I've met people on the internet. Like, do I talk to them like daily? Probably not. But like there's Avars, right? Like, I guess maybe he still does consultant work too, and I guess his content creation might bring in some money, but like he does make money off of his apps. Who I know Sean Allen attempted to make money off his YouTube app, and then I think he's just gone back and forth a lot on like, he's like, all right, I'm done doing YouTube because I'm gonna focus on that, and then he's like, JK, I'm coming back. So like it goes back and forth. Like, I think it just honestly depends on the like niche, I guess, of the app at the same time. I'm trying to think if there's anyone else I can say off the top of my head that like I talk to more than I just like listen to. Because like I know the guy who makes Widgetsmith, the app Widgetsmith, is made by one guy, David Smith, I think is his last name. Maybe that's just his persona on the internet. And he makes enough off of his apps. He makes that and Pedometer plus plus. I don't talk to him. I hear podcasts from him and Marco Arment, who also makes Overcast and has enough to live off of. So like I think it just, again, depends on the niche, how long you've been in it, and then also your audience. Like to be honest, like they now have audiences they can reach out to market. Like I think more so it's all about the marketing than it is the like app itself at the end of the day. Like, can you push out an app that makes money? Like, how do you market that app to people? Yeah, marketing's tough. Marketing also scares me. What is it? Jordan Morgan? Is that who I'm thinking of? The guy with the basketball app? How are there? Basketball. Who am I talking about? SwiftJective-C. Okay, yes, thank you. Oh my god. Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. He had a good talk he had a decent talk at what's his butt Deep Dish Swift about marketing. And then also, I appreciate it. Thank you, Broomster Brawl, about this being educational. There we go. But he also had one. Oh, this is his WWC post. Okay, let's go somewhere else. Recently about vibe marketing. Yeah, he had one about vibe marketing and how you can kind of like his experience marketing and how he's used LLMs and stuff to get his marketing ideas out. You could definitely try this. Like, take some takeaways from here. And then here is like a really basic talk of his like marketing, but yeah. Like, do you post under your own name on LinkedIn or create its own page to post under? So I create an X or Threads for this business. It's all unknown to me. Maybe that's when I should be using AI. You can definitely ask. I mean, they are definitely some like, I mean, it honestly just depends. I feel like if you have like a following already on your name, like go for your name. But if you want to, but depending on the platform, so like if you're targeting, I know you're doing SaaS, but like if you're targeting like businesses, hello. All right, I think we're good now. Okay, I don't know the last thing you heard, but because he's targeting like basketball coaches, doing Instagram, like he doesn't want to do his own personal Instagram. He should be doing the like Elite Hoops Instagram, right? Like, so that's just the case. There is like, which if I was so like on my app, because it is a personal finance app, like if I'm gonna like pretend I'm a marketer for a moment, and I have published my budgeting app, right? I'm going to, because I want initial people to get on like the beta and to get tests and stuff out, like I probably want to run it. I probably want to push out my own personal apps, like on my own personal page. Whereas when I'm ready to expand out and get more growth, like, and get like actual users that aren't there just because like they follow me on Instagram, they watch me on Twitch, YouTube, stuff like that, but they want me to, I just need like more users, and I want more paying users like of the specific app. That's when I probably switch to an Instagram or like pages directly for that app, right? Anyway, I act like I know what I'm talking about. I haven't launched any apps. Like, they're still here. These are just like things that I've picked up from like paying attention to what other apps do, and then also like from different like I was on a marketing team before like I joined my current company, the current company I'm at. So I was on their like marketing team, so it was also interesting to see like what they did, and they were targeting B2B, business to business. So they were like a mortgage company that targeted the realtors, which then of course the realtors were going to the consumers, right? The home buyers. So we were B2B, and everything we posted was on our like actual Homeward account, right? So it's a little bit different, but like the separation makes sense in my mind. Kind of like, you know, like founders talk about how they built a company, but whenever they're looking to acquire users of that company or that product, they post from their, like, the ads come from that like product page. You kind of want to come across as a legit trusted company and get business clients. Could be bad pushing it. Yeah. So I wouldn't push it as yourself. I would push it as like your, yeah, I wouldn't push it as yourself. I would push it as your company then. Like, you want to be a trusted brand, the company you want. Then I would do like company posts and stuff like that. Yeah, and exactly. Your social media targets are not always the target market. Your social media audience is not always the audience for the app. Yeah. And exactly like Michaela said. Anyway, that was a long rant. Again, I haven't shipped an app like since iHog, and iHog has a very niche market that I don't even have to like actually market for. So, and I'm not doing it to make any money off of it, to be honest. It's honestly just up there to be up there at this point. I probably need to take off subscriptions and stuff for it, but I didn't want to do that until I get this app done. Get a second app on the App Store. My goal is to have another app on the App Store by the end of this year. That has been my goal. You haven't shipped in forever either. Yeah. I mean, it just happens. Life gets busy. Other things could pop up. That kind of thing. Football isn't soccer also, right? Not football as in America football. That's great. I bet someone would. I bet you could find someone to buy the 2,000 followers, but yeah. I'm sure you could. I mean, but that seemed like a smart move. And like, if it was basically Apple that killed it, right? Like, that makes sense. Like, that it kind of died. All right, so we have no instances made, so we need to actually make the instances now. So we're going to go through each pocket definition. So let's get the pocket definitions. Try await pocket repository dot for the budget. Yeah, your business partner made some odd decisions in the year or two before Apple denied it. Ugh, that's rough. But yeah, and it happens, unfortunately. Okay, so for pocket definition and pocket definitions, we need to make a pocket instance. let instance equal pocket instance. Man, what a like wondering if you can come back whenever it's like, that seems odd. I totally understand that. Seems really odd to come back that way. All right, so we have this instance. Now we need to put it in. Cool. So we have this pocket instance repository. All right, so these pocket instances are all being created for this pocket definition. That seems great. We should be golden now. That should be all that's needed. And then we need to call this here, I guess. Try await. Yeah. I'm not sure if I quite like doing it here, but why not? We're not gonna do it there. Excuse me. I want to do it. And then we're gonna create the pocket instances. Whoops. Yeah. Okay, so this has created pocket instances and budget periods for everything. I know I'm still not quite ready. Okay, so these are just creating systems. I think this is actually a decent spot to be at to be able to start doing UI work. I know I didn't quite build out the service and I didn't do tasks because let's just be real, that's not fun. It's necessary at some point, it's just not fun right now. I need to commit this. Which one? This one. Yeah. You find testing fun. I mean, tests can be fun, but I see them more as like a necessity, which is great. Swift testing is fun. I've been enjoying Swift testing. I've been using it a bit. I need to dive more into the like parameterized tests actually. But yeah, I've been using Swift testing for like all my tests, to be honest. It's been a good time here. And it makes sense. And I find they are more reliable in asynchronous workflows than the XC tests have been. I had written like all of these tests like for my budget for like in the backend type things. It was quite fun. I think I then deleted them because I was getting annoyed by having to implement the tests and they would break and stuff like that. So yeah, my plan is to add tests back. But yeah, did I already say I plan like once this gets closer to shipping, like I plan on at least showing the iOS side of things. Like making that public on my GitHub. I think so. Anyway, that's my plan at some point. Okay, so create budget period, create bucket instances. Yeah, because like I'm gonna have to test all of this behavior and make sure it works correctly. I mean, in lieu of testing, I'm at least putting comments in whenever like to explain like where logic happens, which I say as there's really no comments. But yeah. I'm trying to add more comments so that I'm not completely in the dark. All right, so we can probably, do I want to call it a night here? I have services done. I mean, not done, right? Let's go back to my lists. Let's see. don't actually need to do either. I have the create period. I don't have an allocate function, which I will need at some point. I don't know what that looks like exactly yet, like what I need for that information. Same with the reorder. So I'll need to do these at some point, especially the transactions. But I think next time, it's already almost 11. I need to get to bed because I have work tomorrow. So I think next time we'll start building some views. Like I can do an onboarding view, which will do all the things that we just talked about today. You also need to sleep. Yeah. And it's starting to get that time. And it's like, I mean, it's 11 o'clock my time. Sure, it's later for other people, earlier for other people also. But yeah. I think we can get close to, I think we can start like the actual like UI type of wire up and then fill in like services as needed, right? As the time goes on. Thanks everyone for really dropping by. I appreciate y'all chatting with me. Had a lot of really good conversation, especially about vibe coding. So thanks Michaela for asking about that. Some marketing stuff. Thanks Mono for bringing that conversation up. Thanks for the new follow, Broomster Ball. Sorry if I'm pronouncing your Brewmaster Ball. Anyway, sorry if I'm pronouncing your name wrong. I really appreciate it. See you, Michaela. See y'all, everyone. Have a great night. I will be back for sure next Wednesday night. I imagine I will be back on Sunday night, but I never know what the weekend actually entails until it's that time. So for sure, count on me next Wednesday, and I will see you next time. Bye, y'all.